See, if Piastri does take the championship this year, he's not winning for one person. I feel like he's winning for every Australian that's come before him.
Danny Rick!
Mama!
Max's style of racing
Mhm.
is basically either I'm ahead
Yeah.
or we're both going into the wall.
He very aptly said, maybe no dinner for him today. Welcome back. This is Rookie Season episode 11.
Yay!
Let's go.
Please subscribe, share, and like our videos.
Mm-hmm.
And
we really need the engagement. Let's keep it going.
Yes. And yesterday was the Jeddah Grand Prix.
It was a fierce one, huh?
Yes. We had, craziness happening from the word go.
It just legit, like, the minute those lights have gone out, it's been chaos.
Yeah.
Pure chaos.
And, we've spoken, not we, but like people speak about how Max's style of racing is basically either I'm ahead or we're both going into the wall. And we saw that yesterday.
Yeah, we genuinely did. Like, he wasn't metaphorically trying to edge his way out. He was literally trying to edge his way out of that.
Yeah. And we, post the race, we had Christian Horner show up with receipts.
Somebody felt like pulling off a Toto.
Yeah.
And has literally come with printouts of who's ahead and who's not.
I have printouts.
Although I don't think Christian Horner understands physics too well, because the road turning he's not taken into consideration only. It's like every road is a straight road.
Yeah. So for people who missed the race yesterday, Max Verstappen started P1 and Oscar Piastri was P2. And the minute the race started, Oscar had a better launch.
Yeah.
And he was ahead of Max, but Max was like, no, I ain't letting him go. So he basically took a turn and he went off the track limits to gain an advantage. And it was clearly unfair, which is why then Max received a 5-second penalty, which changed the whole race.
Gasly and Yuki had a terrible crash. Poor Pierre Gasly, he was really doing really well last day. Yeah. And I was hoping to see him in action, at least come into the points. Yeah. But unfortunately, with the crash between him and Yuki Tsunoda, both of them were eventually put out of the race instantly.
Yeah, it's sad for Yuki too, because he gained his first points in the second Red Bull seat last race and now out again.
It was honestly like, even till qualifying actually, Yuki was told to be performing, like, it was supposed to be the best performance in the past 7 months from the second Red Bull seat.
Sad.
Like, that's just so sad.
Because it was right in the beginning. It was a yellow card, not a red. Like, it was a yellow flag, not a red flag.
Right.
And not much happened. Like, Max is still in the front. He'd had a really good launch after the safety car ended. He did it really smartly.
That was also another piece to watch out for when Russell tried to jump ahead because he thought Max is going for it. It was he kind of toyed with them a little bit on that front. But I wouldn't say it was a great start after the
He had a good,
car.
I thought Piastri would get him.
Yeah.
But he did it smartly, I feel. Like, Piastri didn't realize when Verstappen was going to launch, and he did.
Yeah.
I think the bigger problem was that GP, like the Red Bull team, should have made Max give Piastri the place back and then, like, chased him for it, like, instantaneously.
You think so?
Yeah, I do think so, because I think it was pretty clear what the verdict was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think as a race engineer and racing team, you should have kind of, predicted it, or at least had a fall-safe option for it. Yeah. Because with the Red Bull being so much slower than the McLaren, a 5-second pit stop is obviously, like a 5-second penalty in a pit stop is obviously going to affect you way worse than just letting him go ahead and then, like, catching him,
right? And in fact, I think the best time to let him go ahead would have been under the safety car. It would have been the easiest thing to do. You don't lose out on too much of a gap distance, anything, you keep him right in your sights.
Yeah.
And you could have also won some brownie points from the world around you, but that's Max's racing for us. Like, it's doing his thing.
Max and Red Bull, they just are stubborn, like, they're just like, nope, we're right. We have the receipts. We have the printouts.
The printout is what's gonna keep them going now.
Yeah. Christian Horner, I'm sorry, it is a turn. If you go off track on the turn, yes, you're going to be ahead on the apex. That doesn't mean you are ahead. It just means you did it wrongly.
Yeah, it's just that's not how racing works. So sorry.
Yes. But Oscar Piastri,
Yeah,
he is now the drivers' championship leader, guys.
I like it. He's just under 100 points too, at 99 points.
Yep, three Grand Prix that he's won already, which is insane.
Yes, I read somewhere someone posted Oscar Piastri. And it was so cool to watch. Like after all of the Max with the 4 in the middle of it last year, I think this is going to be a fun little.
Yeah, and the stat is that he is the first Australian to lead drivers' championship after Mark
Webber. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which is notable for many reasons. One being that Mark
Webber is his manager.
Yeah.
Mark must be so proud. He's like,
yeah, I'm sure.
That's me right there.
Yeah, I don't really know the history of Mark Webber's championship battles and stuff, but he's never won a championship. I was reading up about it today itself. He's, I think, won 9 or 10 Grand Prix, but never a championship.
Yep.
He was with Red Bull for the predominant part of his career. So this would be quite a statement, you know?
It definitely would. Honestly, if Piastri does take the championship this year, he's not winning for one person. I feel like he's winning for every Australian that's come before him.
Danny Rick!
My man! Always repping Danny Rick out here.
And speaking of managers, there was a very funny bit with Alonso.
Oh my god, that's you're taking me to the favorite moment of the entire weekend.
I'm sorry, are we getting into your faves and fails?
Yeah, I think like this is too quick, but okay, let's talk about it either ways. He's so cute, dude. Alonso really gave Bortoleto the most genuine answer human could give as like a mentor manager getting screwed by your mentee. It's so funny. It's so funny that yesterday after the race. And during the race, we saw Bortoleto almost go into Alonso, because of which Alonso had to lock up and kind of take the outside line to overtake. Now, it was risky what Bortoleto did. And so post-race, Alonso was asked about it. And he very aptly said, maybe no dinner for him today, but, that'll be the end to it.
They're flying home together. So he's like, we're still flying home, but maybe no dinner for him.
I was just like,
yeah, but I think it's so cool. Like, I don't think it had registered in my brain that Alonso is the mentor / manager of Bortoleto.
Yeah, and they're both still racing. Yeah,
that's so funny.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And I wonder what must be going through Alonso's head when he sees his little boy coming behind him and trying to crash into him.
Hey, you want a season next year? No. Sit back.
Yeah, and it must be conflicting, because on one side you are a racer yourself, and on the other side you are, harnessing this great talent.
Yeah.
So it's just like, do I give him the way? Do I stay on my track? What do I do?
What's really needed to be done here is, it's a real question through his head at that point, I would say.
Yeah. I wish Max or Lewis or someone does this too in the future, where they take on someone.
I'm pretty sure it's not very far off for Lewis, at least. I can see him do it within the next year itself, and he'll be managing one of these kids.
It would be so nice, because I feel like it is a really good thing to pay forward your expertise.
Yeah, of course.
And we're literally seeing it with Mark Webber and Oscar Piastri. I feel a lot of Oscar's racecraft mentality
right
must come from being mentored by a person who has so much experience.
Of course, no doubt. And speaking of mentors, there are so many notable names from the yesteryears that are still great mentors today. And prime example is Sebastian Vettel. He's so involved with the entirety of F1 even today, after all his 4 wins and everything, that he's kind of like heading out the mentorship program for the F1 Academy.
Correct.
Which is great. He recently actually got back behind the wheel.
Oh!
Yeah, he drove a go-kart for a female-only F1 Academy. It was, I think, a charitable event that they were doing. But yeah, he got back behind the wheel. It was pretty cool to see.
Do you also want to talk about the other Seb news that's been doing the rounds?
The one that Marco said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I actually I'm really happy about that. That's the one thing Marco said all year that made me so happy. Made me so happy. Oh man, you're talking right now. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Dr. Marco has very clearly said that if he ever was to step down, he'd want Sebastian Vettel to take his place, which I honestly think is perfect. Seb knows the team. He knows Christian. He knows F1, and he has equal rights to Verstappen right now in wins also. So
it would be great. There's someone, I'm forgetting who, has also said he would be great. Vettel would be great for FIA president.
Yeah, those are rumors going around everywhere, but I'm not too sure who said that.
Yeah,
it was some Italian.
Escaping the names.
I know for a fact that it was somebody Italian.
Why did he say it like this?
No, I'm just thinking out loud. I remember the name being slightly Italian. I'm not trying to be racist, but yeah, I think it was Italian.
The racist one was definitely me right now. But no, I think a driver being the FIA president would be a great call.
It could be a great call, but there is a certain side to it that, and now with this I agree with the world a little bit. A driver being the FIA president works for the track, it works for the sport in one aspect, but does it really work in the aspect to build the sport even larger, to make it bigger?
Why not? Like, who knows the sport more than a driver?
Okay, now I'm going to take the side of someone who's really had no side to be taken in the past couple of years, but look at how far F1's come as a televised sport. Even through such a small move of making the broadcasting internalized, they've pulled in so much revenue. In fact, the deal that they made for the F1 televising rights also, that they gave to Sky Sports the first time around, was nuts. It was the highest ever television rights deal that they had made. And then within a year, they decided, you know what, if there's so much money, why aren't we making it? And they launched the app. And I don't think a driver would be able to see all of these aspects to it.
I agree. You need a business mindset. But have like a vice president for it, you know. You surround yourself then with people who have that technicality. Like, speaking about the film industry a little bit, because that's where we're from originally, like, a director might not know how to handle a camera, which is why he has a DOP.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's fine. Like, if you have a vision, there can be people hired to execute your vision.
Teamwork makes the dream work. We get.
So let's see. I do hope to see Vettel back in some form or the other.
Absolutely, I'd love to see him back around the track more, more involved in everything for sure.
Yeah.
You want to give him a business partner? We can give him Danny too. Doing his rosé shit, he'll help.
Danny's a businessman now.
It could be like a full Red Bull FIA presidency thing going to.
That would be hilarious.
That would be so funny. All the ex-Red Bull drivers coming in and be like, yeah, we'll take over. We've been wronged now. We'll never let it happen again.
Interesting. Anything else that stood out for you? Something that stood out for me was Max Verstappen getting driver of the day.
Yeah, okay, what is going on? Like, every race that I have noticed until now, there are 5 races, and all 5 races I have been looking at this driver of the day be somebody that has performed average. So now I want to get into like, what is their process?
Who's deciding?
What is the process of this decision making to figure driver of the day, or is it just purely based on like votes online and like fans votes and things like that? Because that was part of it originally. I'm not too sure anymore.
What the fans also thinking, like, has it just become a consolation prize now that there's no fastest lap? They're like, driver of the day, go for that. Like, what's happening?
But there's no points for that either.
Yeah, no points, but at least you're like, tasalli ho gayi, mil gaya kuch mujhe. Like, even Kimi, the day he won it, in whichever race he won it, he had done absolutely nothing.
Right.
And even he was like, oh really? Like, what the fuck? And then Toto's like, yeah, I think the young demographic is very into you. Kimi must be a good looks, Kimi. I'm like, yeah, what is going on?
It's called Kimi ko chane ke jhaad pe chadana. That's what Toto is doing. And Toto himself is tall enough to be a jhaad at this point. He just wants him to stand on his shoulders.
Toto's full-time job is just giving Kimi ego boosts.
Speaking of full-time jobs, can we speak about the one person on that track who's doing a full-time job of a father?
Anthony Hamilton.
Dude, Paddock Dad. He's become the Paddock Dad. Everybody who needs a shoulder to like just vent and let their emotions out. Anthony Hamilton's there for you, man.
He was consoling Norris after he crashed. There was obviously him consoling Isaac Hajar, and there's this really funny meme going around of this big ass teddy bear running, okay, down the paddock, and it's like Anthony Hamilton yesterday when Yuki and Gasly crashed.
Was he around? Was he around? I want to see this.
I don't know if he was. We've not seen any clips, but if he was, we know where he was going.
Yeah,
we
for
know
sure.
who he was heading to.
I was saying, I feel like he's also like picking up practice.
Yeah.
You know, so he can apply it at home for his own son.
Lewis didn't do too bad yesterday. He started P7.
Oh, no. I have become part of the club that believes that if Lewis is in the points, he's had a great result. Great fucking result, guys.
Yeah.
I have officially become part of that group now where it's not looking for him on the podium, it's looking for him in the points at this point. Because if the car is so off his driving style, then I'm just glad he's not in the bottom 10.
Fair. Yeah. But I think, last race he did pretty well. He climbed a few places.
Yeah, of course.
This race he held his place. I mean, let's just give them
I'll give him that much. Yeah, which is why I'm very happy with his performance at the moment. I think he's doing the max of what he can do with that car and his ability at the moment.
Genuinely, if someone asked me, I would think driver of the day yesterday was Norris. Who went from P10 to P4.
Yeah.
And or Leclerc, who
held his third in the end.
He went from P4 to P3 firstly, held his P3, got to P3 because of a good strategy.
Yeah, he held that P1 position for a very long time on those tires,
on mediums.
He went on mediums for longer than anybody in that track. He went on those mediums.
So that was a really, really good stint that he had. But no, Max Verstappen was driver of the day.
It's always that.
I want to get into my fails and fails.
Let's go.
Because my fail is a little bit of a emotional plus theoretical fail.
Okay, let's go.
I think the biggest fail right now is us as fans, the teams, I don't know who, but I feel a lot of drivers are under too much pressure. Okay? Like, I am genuinely concerned for the mental health of Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton. I swear, before I was like laughing and I was like, oh my god, they look so sad and they whatever. And I'm genuinely concerned because they look like they are broken. And it is not fair. Like, so many people are criticizing Lando for crashing and starting P10 and he makes too many silly mistakes. All of it true. But then when he does climb from P10 to P4, there's not that much chatter about it. Having Oscar Piastri doing so well must be putting so much pressure on him too. And he's already feeling the pressure. We as fans don't need to keep like being so harsh. And we do that to Lewis too. Like,
I agree.
It's so sad and it's showing in their press conferences. They look like they are like downtrodden. And then look at Stroll.
Bro, audacity. That's my faves for the weekend was one. Now I'm going to put that in because we already used battles.Hit on Alonso. This is my second favorite thing that happened all weekend.
Stroll saying
the audacity on that child to say that if he puts the McLaren drivers in a Sauber for 10 years, they'll have the most Q1 exits.
But why is he saying this? He's not in a Sauber. He's in an Aston Martin.
Yeah, which is what, like, the audacity is not spoken about himself. He's not spoken about his car.
Others.
One team that's performing a little worse than him and some drivers that are on top. Oh my bro.
And I'm like, Stroll, if you have so much problem with the car, you know who you need to call, right?
Yeah.
Daddy.
Call the person who gave you that damn license.
Yeah, and if you have so much problem, you are welcome to leave,
Yes, please, make space.
Yeah, make space.
There are better drivers out there.
Seriously.
I know you have a super license, it's good for you, but...
So if that's your fail, what's your fail?
My fail, honestly, is... and this is going to be very controversial, to be honest. But my fail is... And I'm saying this not as just a fail for yesterday, but this has become a fail over the span of the past year and this. I am tired of seeing Russell hold up the line. I am extremely, extremely tired. And this is something that needs to be spoken about, I feel. Because how long can you create that divide between the top podium runners and the people that are trying to compete for it. If you're not gonna make a move, buddy, get the fuck out of the way. If you want to make a move, make the move. Stop hogging the line.
I feel like Russell, we have previously in a good way called him Rahul Dravid.
Yeah.
He's the wall.
Yeah.
Like he just, wherever he is, he will then.
That's it. There's a time deficit of close to 20 seconds by the end of the race ahead of him.
Yeah. Yesterday he was struggling with something. I don't know what it was.
His tires. He was struggling with his tires.
But otherwise also, there's always a big gap between wherever he is and the person behind him and the person ahead of him. Sometimes that's a good strategy and sometimes it's just frustrating.
No, see, I get it as far as it's strategy for him to get clean air and to try and race it out. But now, if there's pressure behind you, you can't keep holding on to clean air. Because now you're towing somebody behind you at a slower speed. You're slowing down everybody behind him. So it's a chain reaction. Right now, you're talking about a driver that has not been under the top 5 in these first 5 races.
Correct.
Now, who's supposed to fight these guys then? If you're going to create such a big ass divide between the top 5, the bottom 15, how are you supposed to see a good battle happen in the top 10?
It's taking out the excitement.
Yeah, it genuinely is. And this is not on slow tracks, fast tracks, it's on every track.
That's true. That is very true, Russell. Pick it up.
Or move aside.
He's not going to move aside.
Okay, then pick a side.
My fave is not just Charles Leclerc finally getting a podium. It is my favorite, the cameraman, after he got the podium. He was in his face. मतलब घुस ही जा उसके आँखों के अंदर. He was literally like...
He wanted to see if there's a glimmer of a tear and he'll capture that also.
But the camera felt like every other Charles Leclerc fangirl. Who had like... He was like waiting for when Leclerc will come on this podium.
You know, honestly, I felt like the cameraman forgot his camera was on. He was just going in for a hug and he went in too close and someone said, "Hey, chalu, piche." Right.
But Leclerc also was like fully like enjoying.
Yeah, of course he is enjoying it.
Dude,
man's compared himself to a Kardashian. Of course he's enjoying it.
Yeah, he
loves that light.
After so long, my close-ups are being taken. But yeah, that was definitely my fave moment. I had another runner-up for my fave, which was Sainz playing the team game till the finish line. Because Isaac Hadjar was quite fast. And he was literally under a minute behind Albon at almost the last 20 laps. But Sainz, he stayed with Albon. He gave him DRS throughout.
We've seen this before. He's done it for people that are not his own teammates also.
Yeah, but that was to win. That was him using his strategy brain to win against Russell.
Of course.
This was just a team game. He was like, we both can get 8 and 9. I'm not going to chase the 7.
Correct.
People might say he might never have got the 7, but I'm saying he didn't even try.
Right, yeah, he didn't try.
He was like, it's better we get 8 and 9 than Albon falls behind.
I think it's very well done given that he's also this weekend come out and, rectified his mistake of why am I competing against these cars that I don't stand a chance against, and instead I should be focusing on pulling the points, getting the car up there so that we can finally compete with them.
Yeah.
And I think he's finally showing that rather than just talking about it, which is great. It's not just talk, He's really gotten into this motion now.
I love it.
I think he's going to do great work. Now
Yes, Science! Let's go, Science! Okay, amazing.
Very happy for him. Do you feel like the camaraderie on the track has kind of like... It's not the same as it used to be because of how the rules have changed and everything? I want to point out to one prime example to give you a comparison. The qualifying crash of Lando Norris. He crashed, and the first person to pass him after the crash, on TV at least, was Piastri. There was no slowing down. There was no checking in, except for, of course, everyone radios in. We always radio in. Oh, is he okay? Is he okay? Of course, that's human nature. But there was a time back in the F1, and this was up till Seb was racing, in fact. So he was the last person to be able to pull it off, where drivers would stop for each other. When it was a low-stake game, they'd stop. If it was just a qualifying, there's a red flag, there's a safety car coming on. You'd stop, you'd check in on him, you'd try to see, hey, you good? In fact, to a point where we've seen videos of people taking that person and be like, "Sure, I'll drop you to the pit, bro." They
Senna got
taxied them
dropped.
out. Yeah, Senna got dropped. Schumacher's gotten dropped. Sebastian's taken one person and dropped them, and this has been going on for years, right? Now, of course, this was okay for the drivers to do back when drivers weren't taking any point loss on it.
Penalties.
Yeah, they would only take a monetary loss and they'd be okay with it. You know, like they used to treat themselves like rock stars and just be like, "Yeah, whatever, take the money, we do it." But these were iconic moments in the past where we've seen a driver stop for someone, and I genuinely feel like these are the driver of the day moments that need to come up. You know, like
I agree.
we don't see these enough.
I mean, we've I don't know how recent it was, but when Joe Ganyu had his terrible Silverstone crash, we saw Russell stop.
Yeah, see, exactly.
During
Russell
a race.
stopped. He stopped around to the side. He saw what was going on because he saw that it's a low stake moment.
I would like to believe that if the crash seemed really bad, they would do it. I'd like to believe that. Like the Joe Ganyu crash, people thought he might be gone.
Yeah.
It was
I thought he was gone.
It was that bad, right? However, I do feel like, the iconic friendships of like Carl Lando and our whatever C squared that was happening. I'm not seeing that same camaraderie in the new teammates.
The more I think about it, it's always the prime suspect in this is always one driver, and it's kind of Sainz actually for me. He was with Lando and McLaren, he did it. He was with Charles at Ferrari, he did it. Now he's with Albon, he's still trying to do it there also.
I don't think Williams is doing much only, like marketing wise.
Except for taking a shit in James Vowell's office mid-race.
Yeah, I don't know why that had to be publicized that they used James Vowell.
They made it so big. The thing is, F1 made it big. Then when they shouldn't have, and then Williams kind of just has to play along with it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, that's crazy. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our reaction podcast, and we won't be back next week.
There's no race.
We have to come up with something to entertain them.
We always do.
We will think of something. So yeah, see you then.
Hey guys.